Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow, whether you're following on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, as well as hit a follow on Instagram, TikTok, as well as X as well. I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Whether you enjoyed today's match is a different story. I guess it's a matter of opinion. But today's episode is just mainly dedicating it to the recap of Manchester United versus Everton, final game of the U.S. tour. We still have one more friendly left against Fiorentina next weekend. And then 2 weeks now until we play Arsenal for the beginning of the Prem. Listen, today was a draw. Today felt like it was a defeat, to say the least. I think many people would say, yeah, it was a defeat. Listen, it started off good for the first little bit. You saw some good ball movement. Before we continue on, I should jump to the lineups. No Dorgu starting. You had Kobe and Ugarte in the middle. Shaw, De Ligt, Yoro were in the back three. Delo and Ahmad were the wing backs. And then you had Cunha, Bruno, and Mbeumo starting at the front. It was almost similar to like a false nine. Were there good things? Yes, the ball movement was good. It was good to see Mbeumo starting, which is great. So you saw that there. You saw some positives in the first half. But, obviously giving up those goals. In the end, going to the second half was a little bit different story. Some things I saw in the first half were happening in the second half. Ball control was definitely sometimes an issue. With that, in the second half, it was a massive issue, especially when you started switching over to the subs. Listen, we got the penalty. Nice play by Bruno to Mason Mount. Mason Mount with the goal to take the lead. And then another own goal today, which is 2 in a row. And I know some people may say, "Oh, there's a distraction on the field when they scored that Everton when that own goal happened," especially with Bruno and the Everton player. Some people started to pause and look back at it, lost control, and next thing you know, Ahmad does the kick and the ball deflects and then goes into our net. I feel like Bayender could have saved it as well, but that's a different story. I did like things with Cunha. Unfortunately, he missed out on that goal. Should have been in a corner, especially with a deflection off the Everton player. Mbeumo did see some good things. He only played, I think it was 45 minutes because of injuries. Not because of injuries. No. It was because it was match fitness. It was his first match as Manchester United. My apologies for saying injuries. But no, it was just match fitness for Mbeumo. So good things here, ball movement. I don't know if it was nerves, but definitely his control was slow at the start, and then it got better as the game went on. Cunha, again, I think with the way the formation was, I shouldn't say the formation, just the way the lineup was, just trying to get a mixture of what you can do when you can get Mbeumo and Cunha together and then Bruno all there and try to almost do it similar to a false nine. Yeah, I know people were like, oh, goals. I feel like today's match was, here's an experiment. Let's see how it works out. Because, last match I told what I expected. I expected Højlund. I wanted Mbeumo and Cunha to start, but I didn't say Mbeumo to start. I would have liked him to start, but I would have saw him in the second half because he wasn't ready. And change it up. But obviously, Ruben went a different route. Hoyland didn't come on until later on. So we didn't see that, as well as we didn't see Dorgu starting. I don't think we saw Diego Leon starting. So we definitely had players who stood out, not there. And I feel like today, again, it's preseason. We're going to be testing out different things. And I think Ruben wanted to test everything out just to see, hey, here we go. I know fans are upset with this draw. I know many people are treating this as a loss, but treated as a lesson of certain things that we saw and that we're still having issues with. I think it's time to move on from the striker search, keep Hoyland, keep Xerxes. You have the rotation on Buemo and Cunha, and you also, and Cheeto Obi too. So you have 3 strikers there. I think it's time to look at the midfield because it did struggle at the bit. Kobe wasn't the best either. Ugarte struggled when we did the changing of the guard in the second half. There's definitely struggles there. Again, but there is going to be a problem. For all we know, actually no, that would be a bad take if I was going to continue on with what I said. But yes, I think there is an issue here with the midfield. So I think Man United should start addressing that and looking into that, especially with the window coming down. But it's a 38 game season here, folks, and we have 2 domestic tournaments to be in as well. So we have to look at what we can do. But yeah, I think overall, am I mad about it? Yes, because the only thing I'm mad about is we saw the same issues, the mental lapses. We saw mental lapse today, and we saw that close out. Just taking a look here at the subs for us. The usual subs, like Tyler Fredrickson came on. The usual people that have come on in the back, and you may have, the usual people that we had switching on. Obviously, it could be just because of something that Amram wanted to do. You have to look at the depth of who he's going to have at those day squads, and this is looking like what it's there. But I would have liked to see Diego Leon come on because he's been having a good one, especially him on the left side, him and Dorgu. I still want to see them together. But if I were to, that's there's again, this game, I think, again, like I said, was an experiment. Well, we want to see this and this, but going back to, let's look at every player. Euro, which I'm always fine with. De Ligt came on. He left a little bit later on. It looks like a little bit of a knock. Nothing to really concern us about. Like Heaven, Euro, De Ligt, I am fine with. They did play well today. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire definitely had their struggles. Again, I mentioned Kobe and Ugarte having the struggles in the midfield. I don't think the combination of Bruno, Cunha, and Buemo together, like in that attacking formation, would work. Again, not having Xerxes here during the preseason did suck. Hopefully he's good to go for Fiorentina and Arsenal, because that would be interesting to see how those 3 would connect in moving the ball as well. And I did want to see what they can do with Hoyland. Maybe next week against Fiorentina, we will see that. We will see more of a starting 11 of what we've all been talking about. But I think there's some pieces that need to be done. And by Ender, that goal, I feel like he could have, Yeah, today was a. How would I describe it? Today felt like a loss more than a draw. And in the end, we didn't lose. We haven't lost in all of preseason, which can be a good thing, but at the same time a bad thing. But I think today's the type of day where they needed to take that mental hit, um, especially having those two consistent games that we had of win against West Ham, the big win against Bournemouth, and I think a lot of people just saw deer in the headlights. We did that domination, and then just came in today and just expecting the same type of domination. And again, the word experiment definitely came into this game. I think he wanted to see, hey, let's just check out this one thing here. Let's just see if we can work. We saw glimpses of it. So the one thing too is Ahmad, that right side, when they get the offensive side going through that side, it does look good. I am liking that right side of the midfield, the inside. You have to look at, but Euro, Ahmad, if you have Mbuemo there, I like those three together on the right side. The left side, the left side will be good to see as well. Dorgu, Cunha. Once Mazraoui comes back, I think you're going to have Maz on the right. You're going to have probably Lenny Euro starting on the left, but actually, I think Lenny Euro will stay on the right. I think that's his position. Maz could move over to the left side, and then you have Maz carrying it up the left with him, Dorgu, and then Mateus Cunha. Delayed obviously in the middle, but looking at that middle field, like the middle midfield of the pivot and the six, that's what we need to look at. And listen, Kobe Ugarte didn't look good today. There was definitely some hiccups with Bruno and Casemiro. And obviously the last couple of years we've had issues with midfield. But I think it's listen, it's preseason. Things work one way, things won't work the other way, but there's a lot of stuff that were positives. So I think it was just a test of let's see what we can do. There were good things. Again, in the first half, there were some glimpses in the second with the changes, but it felt like more bad things than good things in the second half. And then, but the first half was, I was happy with it as well. But Everton, you know what? When we look at it, today should have been a loss. It does feel like a little bit of a loss going into it, but today could have been a loss. It should have been a loss. Everton had better opportunity. Like Man United had opportunities, but Everton definitely had opportunities where they should have taken advantage of Manchester United and just secured an easy win. And unfortunately, it didn't happen for Everton, and obviously things happened with Man United that they didn't get things to take it away either. Again, mental lapses, which is there. So I think seeing that mental lapse is a good reminder of how this team can be. I think having Everton do what they did today should be a lesson to help them going on. Because again, we have a European club next weekend, and then again, Arsenal in 2 weeks. And I think Amarim had his frustrations where he's like, well, we need this to be happening and ready to go. Because he is definitely looking at Arsenal from 2 weeks away, and he's preparing for it. And he's got to use these games. I think now that they're flying back to the UK, back to Manchester, back to Carrington to practice, I think we're going to see some incredible things happening. Some incredible things, I believe. So I think with the time, the training ground and everything, I think it will help. I think after Saturday's game, having probably Sunday off and then Monday, that full week to prepare for that following Sunday for Arsenal will help. I think we need a little bit more training. I know when you have, 3 games in, let's say, yes, in 8 days technically, you can get training in, but you can't really get much, like you're preparing, but at the same time too, you want to make sure that you're working on everything properly. And I think now that they're going back, you have the full week, they can be more prepared and more ready to get things done going forward. How would I rate overall? The 3 games in the US Tour were positive. There are ups, downs there. I was a little upset again not seeing more of Diego Leon, Collier, Kone, who we haven't really seen. I would like to see him get in. And then, like it's Cheeto Obi could have played today. In the end, I remember this. We had an experiment today. We tried something out. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. The second half was just a reminder of what United was like last season. Mental lapse, like it was there. There was mental lapse, not playing to the whistle. That's what led it to the goal. Some people were just, But, that's the way the cookie crumbled. It was a mental lapse. Like it's a draw, but it felt like a loss. So lesson learned from it, move on from it. You have 2 weeks to get ready for your first Premier League game. You have your final one next week and go from there. But yeah, there's work to be done. There work to be done, and they're flying out either today or tomorrow, but they should be on their way back to the UK and then getting themselves prepared for the week. And the more time you're on the training ground, the better you're going to be. And I think that's what's great. So like the more and more you're training, you're getting familiar with, helping out with fitness, having certain players come back, that helps as well. That left side center back or left side back for the back 3, you're definitely someone there. Luke Shaw is great, but I don't think he'll be starting. Aiden Heaven could be your starter opening day, depending on what Mazraoui is doing. If Mazraoui is back healthy, you'll see him next Saturday, and then obviously getting himself back for condition wise. And if you have him there for you'll have him there hopefully for some minutes on Saturday, and then hopefully starting at Arsenal. That's just depending on health, but if anyone's starting opening day, it should be Aiden Heaven, if not Mazraoui, but I'll leave it there. But overall, there's some good things. The movement was good for some parts. Bad, the midfield definitely having issues no matter who it was there. In the second half, they just looked like there were struggles. So, and you know what? It happened. We had, some people are probably feeling a little bit like they were against the Leeds. I know some people were upset with that draw against Leeds. I'm sure those same people are there too. And I've already seen people talk about Amarim. I know a lot of people are hating on Ugarte. Listen, Ugarte is a good player, but him, Kobe, and some players didn't have a good game today. It's what it is. So, like, lots of work to be done. It's the truth. Lots of work to be done. And I'm sure Ruben's going to have this squad going bananas at training grounds this week because of how important the games are now, or how much time, how important we need to get things going for that week 1 match against Arsenal. So, I'm going to leave it there. So I'll leave it there. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, as well as don't forget to follow on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter as well, or X as you can call it. I let me know what you thought of the game. It did feel like a loss in the end. It did feel like a loss. I felt like it should have been a loss for the way Everton was playing, but it did feel like a loss. I hope you guys some of us have an extra day off tomorrow, like I mentioned last episode. And then some of you are back to Monday working. So I hope you, for those that are still on their long weekend, I hope you enjoy the remainder of your long weekend. For those that are back to work on Monday, I hope you guys have a good week, a good day to start your week. Obviously, I know a draw like this doesn't help, but I hope you guys have a good start to the week. I will be back. I'm going to aim for Tuesday to release the next episode. Catch up on that, transfers, everything, what's going to be happening with the locker room, what to expect. I will be doing a preview episode I'll be back Tuesday and Thursday with new episodes this week. Thursday we'll definitely be looking at Fiorentina, getting things ready, what I would like to see with the squad. And then I'll do my recap after that as well. But I hope everyone has a good start to their week. I hope everyone enjoys the remainder of their long weekend as well. But yeah, it was a draw, but it was a loss. We'll leave it there. But again, as I mentioned, enjoy your long weekend. Enjoy your start of the week. I will see you guys Tuesday for a new episode of the pod. So again, I'm just going to leave it there like I always do. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.